Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. It's Valentine's Day. For me, tomorrow, probably by the time this comes out, like a week ago. Because it takes forever for me to edit these videos. That's probably not true. It's going to probably come out like Friday or Saturday or something. Not tomorrow, know that. So, to be honest, that's kind of a good thing, because as you can tell by the title of this video, it's not going to be a very uplifting video. So, why I have never dated. So, this was not really brought to my attention, but highlighted in a group chat we used to have. Me, Rowan, and another girl. Rowan and the other girl, they were talking about how, they were talking about dating. They've both been dating, not each other, different people, and, they were talking about their experiences, and I just was kind of sitting there watching this chat go on, and I thought, I need to chip in. I've never actually dated anyone before, because that's all I could say. They were, what? Was basically the response. I was like, is that a surprise? Or like, Rowan knows quite a bit about my life. Probably more than most people. Like, he knows one of my 5 crushes. And I put 4. Because I can count. So he knows one of my 5 crushes. Or crushes that I have had. I keep most of them secret because reasons. So, also, do you like my getup? I look like I'm from the 60s, or a Beatle, as in a band. But, moving on from that. So yeah, but, I put in a reason which was the first reason that came to mind, I suppose, which was, I lack confidence, and believe it or not, I do. I do these videos, which are cringy as hell. And that is like the first time I think I've ever said that on a video. I lack confidence quite a bit in what I do. I think the difference is, because they were like, you're the most confident person I know. Not really, I just do it. I get on and do it. If I don't have to, I don't. So, that's how I live my life. I don't need to date, so I don't date. And that's how I've lived my life so far. If I have to, I do it. If I don't, then I don't. It is surprisingly good, actually. It's got me this far in life, which isn't that far, to be honest. Barely passing my GCSEs. I bet that's a surprise to people. I do often put myself down, and I love the way like the next day there was a thing in tutor talking about how you spot people with like depression or low self-esteem or body image or something like that, which was fitting for a lot of reasons. And I was reading through some of the stuff, and I'm like, aren't confident in the things they do, act as if they don't care about anything. I was like, okay, well, those are 2 things that I do. I can't remember the rest of the list, but I think I matched up with like 3 or 4 of the things on there, and yeah. So now it's not just me claiming it. Now somebody else is. So that's nice. Anyway, but I don't really think I have a whole lot of a reason for not being confident in myself. As I said, it doesn't really put in a big problem. It's just that, because I still get on and do my work to the best I can. I just, if I don't have to do it, I probably won't. I suppose I've never wanted to ask someone out. I don't know, it's hard to explain. So, like, what it is usually when I get a crush on someone, I don't talk to them. Unless I have to, obviously. Like, I remember my first crush was in year 7, because of course it was. And I remember in the first year, like within the first couple of days I got the crush on her, we were put together for like a week or 2 long assignment. And it's so annoying because I have an auntie who has the same name as her, but her name is shortened, so I kept calling her the shortened name instead of her actual name, and that was so annoying. But yeah, and then I learned her personality, and then it kind of stopped. And that's happened with a lot of them. The first 3, I would definitely say, are the ones that I got a crush on, and then lost it because I ended up growing to either dislike or lose interest in their personalities. And anyway, this continued on for a bit. There was a weird break, like year 9, I didn't really have any crushes that I can think of at that time. And then in year 11 was the only one that I've ever had 2 crushes in at, okay, not the same time, but nearly and I suppose maybe year 10. Yeah, someone who goes on the bus with me, so that's great. It was actually before I got headphones, so, well, I already had them, I just didn't use them on the bus. So, eventually, I lost interest in her as I learnt more of her personality. And that's usually the way it goes. The 2 year ones in year 11 are actually the only two I've enjoyed the personality of, if that makes sense. The difference is, I've had very brief interaction, like friendly, yeah, but they are with someone else, so that's not happening. This is more awkward than I thought, and I'm talking to a camera. I'm gonna put this on the internet later. I've also put a thing up on my Instagram with a picture. I've called it the Crushes of NJ or Nurse Jones, one of those two, and it was like redacted file thing. So it's got the years. I did later realise before uploading it that if I put those years, it might look like that's the years they're in. I don't want to say I have a crush on a year 7 because that's weird. So I was like, yeah, need to just elaborate that those years are the year that we were in, not they are in. They were in it before. Anyway, that makes sense. I've changed my perspective, I suppose, of what a date is. I love the way I was at the cinema with a girl, and I started thinking about what classes as a date and what classes as like a meet-up between friends. This is what I was thinking about in a cinema. Why? I don't know. I did sort of realise, I suppose technically the difference is with a date than a meetup is technically with a date you're planning on moving your relationship forwards, but that's the only real difference I was able to find. You're planning on moving your relationship from friend or whatever to a further up status, if that makes sense. I don't know why, but I can only think of The Sims as a way to talk about this, but I can't really think of the right way to put it. I'm trying to think of it in like video game terms, but that's a bit dehumanizing, I suppose. It's a bit like you're leveling up in the relationship, if that makes sense. Whenever I've planned for the future, I've always planned it as myself alone. I know that sounds really sad, but there wasn't... Well, there's not really a good reason. It's because I never thought I would actually. At the time, when I came up with my plans, and for the majority of my teenage years anyway, I had no friends who were girls. All my friends were boys. Because I can figure out groups more easily with boys than I can with girls. Films and things like that, when they have like the, I suppose it's like American, but you know, like the jocks or the sports people or the music's the geeks, the nerds, da. I can usually somewhat figure that out with boys. I can't do it with girls. All of them I kind of just see as popular, even though I know that's completely not true. But that's kind of what I'm like. I sort of get locked into an idea on who's who, but I can't figure it out with girls, and thus I've never really talked to any. I have to kind of be forced into a situation where I spend contact with them, and most of the time just my ideas are proven right, and then nothing happens. So I never become friends with them. And because of that, I always made plans and things like that ahead of schedule. Well, not ahead of schedule, but you know, into the future. Like, I think I've probably planned up to the age of 25 at most, where I'm like, okay, this is kind of where I want my life to be when I'm 25, you know. I kind of want to have my own car and maybe my own house and I have like my ideal home and things like that, which is really simple, to be honest. Basically, because of how I planned everything ahead of time, I always thought, and I never thought I would have a girlfriend by any of these times. I always planned it around being alone and not sharing this with anyone personally. So you can kind of see that my head keeps telling me a really bad excuse that I want to tell people but I've never told, which is like that I want to concentrate on my schoolwork, but I know that once I leave school I'm just going to concentrate on my work, well, job work. So I do feel like I'm going to I don't want to become, but I might become a workaholic, and I really hope I don't, but I might. You don't want to kind of lose friends if things don't work out, if that makes sense. So stuff like obviously breakups, but what I kind of don't want is almost causing tension, one, for asking someone out and they don't want to, and I suppose two is also, if they spend more time with me, I feel like the flaws of my personality, like me being really lazy, when I get home, I don't want to do anything. I just kind of want to sit there and watch YouTube and play video games, and I leave everything too late because I'm lazy. I'd still complete it as best I can, I just complete it much later than everyone else. And I feel like if someone's spending a lot of time with me, they would notice that, and that is something that I don't really want people to notice, even though I've now put it onto YouTube, so, you know. But, you know, or other stuff that I do, maybe, I don't know, stuff I haven't noticed that could become annoying over time. I feel like I also have a bit of a demand for attention every now and then. At home, I really do not get much attention, and I am fine with it. But I know at school, I feel like I get a little bit annoyed if I feel like I'm being ignored a bit. Also, my repetition of jokes and facts. I often come up with a joke or a fact, and I repeat it to the same person over and over again. No, not the same person, different people over and over again, but in the proxemics of the people who have already heard it. So they hear me say the same joke about 5 times. And I just feel like stuff like that might become annoying to some people. There is another thing, but this is not the video to talk about that. And I can just feel anyone who actually personally knows me watching this video and just gonna start pestering me on this, and I'm gonna have to tell someone eventually. But there is one thing that right now it's a plan, so it's something I want to do, not something that is happening right now, if that makes sense, but it's something later on. That thing that I planned at 25, and technically that means I've gone on to 30 because I want to go on for 5 years. I want to move that back a bit to between the 2 schools I'm going to now, and between moving schools, I want to move it back to then. In between then, this is so hard to be vague about, and because I feel worried I'm going to mention it, but that's something that right now doesn't feel like something I want to mention on this, because I'm not really ready to tell anyone about what this is that's happening, because nobody knows what this is, but I know if I'm going to do it between moving schools, I need to tell someone soon. But I also feel like this would really put a strain on any relationships if I start forming them now. Because there is no way that they would become strong enough till what happens at that time. So, yeah. As I said, if it happens at 25, then if I decide to keep it at 25, then maybe I might date someone, but it's complicated because I do technically have a crush on someone that I technically have a shot with, but I don't know. I feel like if she sees this, she's gonna figure out that I'm talking about her, and that's why I kind of, well, I don't know. It's gonna be like 3 people are gonna see this video knowing me. I swear nobody's watched that Spider-Man video I put up like a few days ago. And I'm planning on doing an entire Red Dead series on that. I kind of hope that I maybe start doing dating at some point. But I think the difference is I would never do online dating because I just feel like you're going in there with an idea on what's going to happen and it doesn't form naturally. I feel like I should become friends with someone before I start dating them, and meet them naturally, not set up, even though technically someone tried to do that with me, ish. I don't blame them, but fine. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye.